Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of the Raging Marks Wrestling Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ravishing Randy, joined as always by my good colleague, Rampage Ramsey. Rampage, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. Just a whole bunch of life changes going on.
Yeah, man, dude, we're packing up the studio, man. You want to talk about what's going to be coming down the pipeline for you?
Yeah, we would have recorded video this week, but I am packing up my room up and everything because I am moving myself to South Carolina. So I'm leaving New Orleans. No more evacuating from hurricanes.
That's one positive to come out of it.
Yeah, I still got the humidity, but going up there, got a job opportunity that I couldn't pass up. Get to spend some time with my godson now. I've been spent 4 years with my goddaughter now. Let's take some time to spend with my godson. It's a job also where I can probably get in and out of town, like on short vacations when I want, because I will be working on four and off three. So I'll have like that, so I can hopefully be available for certain things. Come down to do some video records for another channel, and then but also be able to come down for wrestling gigs or for the. I was like, I'm definitely going to be coming down for the Royal Rumble party.
Oh, absolutely. You better not miss it.
Then I forgot where it was at. And I'm like,
Oh.
no, I'm going to be at that motherfucker. It's in Indianapolis, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to talk to my brother and be like, let's take the nephew to his first wrestling event.
Oh, dude, you got to go and experience the Rumble live, man, especially how the Rumble's been the last few years. Like, shit.
Yeah, so like we are.
You having some troubles over there with your mic stand?
Yeah, I'm having trouble. There we go. Fuck mic stand. Yeah, so we're gonna. I gotta see if they want to do that. So I'll fly up there for it. But I'm a big proponent. Like me and you, we had conversations about. I'd rather watch wrestling on TV than watch it live.
Yeah.
But also, I want my nephew to kind of experience something, and that's a big event. And I know Indianapolis just signed that deal with WWE, so they're getting a Royal Rumble, they are getting a WrestleMania, they are getting a SummerSlam. So I'm like, okay, so there's gonna be opportunities up there, but I think the one I would like to take him is the Royal Rumble.
I mean, I'm kind of with you in a sense that there's certain. There are some ways that watching on TV is kind of better than being in person, but at the same point in time, like experiencing a live crowd and just like feeling the energy, it's definitely if wrestling is in your town, even if it's a small show, it's totally worth going and checking it out just to be there and feel the energy, feel the crowd, and be part of the show.
I love going to independent shows.
Yeah.
I love going to independent shows. I love going to the small company independent shows. I love it. It's just that the big events,
I was gonna say, but the Rumble, but Mania, like, look, having gone to two Manias, and granted, one Mania was better than the other. It's almost though kind of one of those things. I will say for the second Mania, for WrestleMania, what was it, 34? By the time you got to the main event of Brock and Roman, basically everybody in the Superdome being like, we're tired of the shit, and everybody turning on the match. It was kind of cathartic in a sense that it's like, okay, you are not alone in how you feel. And the fact that you like redirect that energy to the company, it was like
we did the night before we did the Ring of Honor show.
Yeah.
And I was done. I was like, I'm done. And I look at Joe. I'm like, you gotta do this shit tomorrow. Like,
well, dude, the first half of that WrestleMania was fucking great. They started with the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship match, or Intercontinental Championship, and that was a great starter. Like it was a heck of a match, and like the first few matches on the card were great. And then by the midway point, I think it was really the AJ Shinsuke match is where you started to cut it. Yeah.
Uh,
And then like the Charlotte Asuka match was just like, and then you had the tag championship match, and it's like we bring a kid out of the crowd to be a tag team partner. It's like,
I was wrapped up in my snuggie on my couch watching that. Those guys, I feel bad for those guys.
yeah.
They've been all day yesterday on it, and then all day on the next day. I was like, I don't know.
But look, I
Not
will
me.
I will say this though, and this might be a nice little transition here because I feel like those are almost halcyon days because like WWE has been to I'd say to a certain extent firing on all cylinders. It just especially the hype around the product and
I
everything.
think that's an understatement.
Yeah. No, dude, just the general hype around the product, like I feel like all shows are firing on all cylinders. Even AEW is starting to turn a corner, and I'm kind of happy to see that. And I know we'll kind of touch on that a bit. I know you're gonna have your thoughts, and we're gonna agree to disagree, but. No, man, dude. Like the WWE product is hotter than it's ever been right now. I know you had a couple of topics.
I'll tell you this. I'll do a hot take for you.
Oh boy.
The last Slammiversary,
Mm-hmm.
that's the first TNA pay-per-view I was looking forward to.
Ooh.
I was looking forward to it. It had nothing to do with TNA. It's what they're doing with NXT. So let's bring that up first.
Okay.
Let's bring up the one-off. We haven't done the podcast since June 10th, and a lot of things is Randy does work in the hotel industry, and end of June, beginning of July is hell with Essence Fest and everything. And I was going through ending my job as a pharmacy tech, and I was going to South Carolina, and then we were trying to connect, do it on online, but your job was you were going through hell on earth.
We had somebody that was working off site, or like they were working at another property for 6 weeks, and so we were kind of short staffed at the desk. And there was just a lot going on. It was kind of like after Essence Festival, we had a few other things that popped up. We just got finished with another big festival this past week, at Tales of the Cocktail. So I mean, there was just like a lot that was going on work wise.
Calling you before I was leaving, I was like, if you got time, I want to record because big things happen, and one of those big things was Jordan Grace versus Roxanne Perez
Mm-hmm.
on Heat Wave. No, not Heat Wave. No.
Is that
Battleground.
yeah.
Battleground. And I was just like, holy shit. And it was like, okay. And it was just not the match. The match was phenomenal. First thing, Jordan Grace, I'm still in awe that she lost her ear. She lost her ear.
Well, she had a rip in her ear from her earring coming out. And she's still, and I mean, her earring was in Roxana's leg.
Yeah, it was just
And like, no, she still like wrestled the match like there was nothing wrong or anything like that. And
it's just crazy.
I mean, that won her a lot of points backstage, like just the fact that she was a consummate professional through the whole ordeal. And you know, it's one of those things. Her TNA contract expires in January, and there's already talk that like WWE is like, not that it's like contract tampering or anything, but like, hey, when that contract's done, you might want to mosey on over
Royal
here.
Rumble was in the first week of February, so yep.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, Royal Rumble. There's another name that's big in TNA that I think if this person's music hits, it's gonna frickin' be like a bombshell going off in Indy, and that's gonna be Joe Hendry. Like,
oh, dude, I before you that, dude, like Joe Hendry, and so you would think okay, that paper that PLE was like, okay, they're doing this is gonna be a one-off. No, because who tries to interfere? It's I don't know her name in TNA, but Dana Brooke.
Ash by or Elegance
Ash,
by Ash.
and they called her by that, and it was just like, holy shit! I'm like, okay. And so this, and then Paxum Tatum was also interfering, and then she entwines being on a TNA event, challenging for the TNA Knockouts title against Jordan Grace. So it's like, all right, we're going to intertwine. Maybe it's just one time two crossover, and then NXT comes out and goes, we're going to have a battle royal, and it's going to have people, wrestlers, that's not just in NXT. And it was just like
They only had two, but it was like two important ones.
Two most important ones you can have.
You know, Frankie Kazarian and then Joe Hendry. And like, look, when
Keep saying
Joe,
his name, he's gonna pop up in here.
yeah. Well, no, but it was one of those things. Like as soon as his music hit, and I think that was a great thing, and maybe an eye-opening thing for like Shawn Michaels and some of the other WWE executives. That the fact that his music hit and the even that small crowd at the NXT studio, they got loud. They knew, most of them knew, the cues in the song of when to wave their hands and clap and everything. Like, no, I mean, it was instant recognition. And it's like, hey, I will say this, like, I think that the partnership between TNA and NXT has worked out well. I think there's some TNA officials that, I mean, have gone on record and said that they feel like WWE has kind of benefited more from the partnership than TNA. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. Like they don't say it as like we're butthurt that we're not getting. It's more of a no, WWE's definitely benefiting from this more than we are. But I mean, it's also WWE is the bigger brand.
They got more eyes on the product,
right?
Where you have to find Access TV if you have access.
It would be I will say this: it would be nice because you do see some of TNA's bigger stars making the crossover to NXT. It would be nice to see more of like the bigger NXT stars crossing over on the TNA programming.
Yeah,
so I mean, I feel like that it's a two-way street.
I think it's coming. I also think that TNA dropped the ball not putting the title on Hendry.
I think that just from some of the podcasts that I listen to, some of which have voices that are big behind TNA, like in a booking capacity, or they're saying that like Joe's time is coming. This is kind of like this is the ascent, and it's like you don't necessarily want to put it on him too soon and have it burn out. It's like you want it to be that by the time he makes that rise and they put the belt on him, that it'll be that full circle moment, so to speak, or everything will have come to fruition in the right way.
Yeah, but also you don't want to have that peak coming when he joins another company, because how it looks like it's not. To me, it looks like this. To me, it looks like TNA understands it needs to be promoted. They don't have the money for promoting it. Doing this partnership, it has worked out because Jordan Grace lost the match,
but still looked good. And it's one of
night.
those things. Like, and I feel like some promoters are scared to have like a definitive winner and a definitive loser, because it's like, oh well, now we're gonna put a halt to this person's momentum and we're gonna kill their steam. It's like, no, if you have them go out there and put on a great effort and they fall just a little bit short, if they look good in defeat, sometimes that can do more for you than just winning every single match.
Especially the counter move that Roxanne did, because everyone's like, oh, she just kicked out of the Jordan. No, that was a reversal. Like, you gotta look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it was like, damn, it was fucking good. And also making Roxanne Perez makes her bigger. Like right now, like I think the momentum, like for women champions in all the promotions, Jordan Grace is the top dog right now because Rhea did have the injury and step back, and now it looks like, to me, like Roxanne Perez has that where, all right, I've defeated probably the best woman on the planet right now,
Mm-hmm.
and and she's kicking ass, and it's just like, all right, I'm loving this. But like, we can talk all day about the women's division in all levels because that shit's like kicking off like things, and we'll get to especially when we hit Money in the Bank.
Who?
But also that night they crowned the first U.S. American, North American women's champion, and with what's her name? Kehlani Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
and which was a great ladder match.
Yeah.
It was a great ladder match. Out of that match, she won. I'm happy because she's very young. She's real young and bright future. But person who didn't win, but also looked so good was Sol Ruka.
Yeah.
And you know, with her, I was kind of. I know she had these high flying moves, and she's very acrobatic. I was like, I hope her knee can keep up. God damn.
Dude, like I've been impressed with everything I've seen with Sol Ruka. And I know that was you were one that was like, oh no, that's a name that you need to like pay attention to on NXT. I will say this, I do think it's almost comical and hilarious. Like and you know, like as much shit as Dave Meltzer gets, I feel like, especially one of these more recent hot takes, like this one's warranted as far as you are a fucking Japanese shill. It's like I can't remember who Sol Ruka was in the ring with, but it was at like a recent. It was a recent match that like they did this back and forth, where they had like some flippy dippy shit, but it was like counter, and Sol Ruka. But basically, a lot of the beats that they did in that sequence was paying homage to a sequence that Ricochet and Will Ospreay did in Japan. I mean, like literally, they're the videos online where you can see the side-by-side comparison. And it was like literally that whole sequence was paying homage to that. This was a match that Dave Meltzer gave 5 stars to, or like 5.5 stars to in fucking Japan. And he just shat on it on his podcast, on the Wrestling Observer podcast, as like, oh, you know, like, oh, I think they're trying too hard with the acrobatics and blah, 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 all this other stuff. And it's like, it's the same fucking thing that you gave 5 stars to, and then now you're shitting on WWE for doing it. It's like...
So here's this. With that, hot take, he's on the payroll of AEW.
It's getting harder and harder to deny that.
He's on the payroll on the Stevie Richards show. He broke down like with AEW expenses, and the amount of money is like for each show put on is like $4 million a week that they're spending.
Like total or per show?
Per show.
Wow.
And because it looks like they're renting everything, renting the stage, renting the lighting, renting the sound, and it was like the price analysis was fucking crazy. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, and it says like media something, and Steve Richards was like, oh, that's probably the payout to freaking Metzler, because you know he books the fucking show. So I'm not shocked that Metzler's gonna shit on it. I'm like, but hey, you know what? Go for it. WWE is still making more money than it's ever have, breaking more records than they ever have, and AEW is sometimes can't even beat NXT ratings during the week.
Yeah, I mean, look,
getting bad.
I am not going to shit on AEW on this particular episode of the podcast, because I do feel like a lot of the angles that they have going into All in London are hot. I'm excited and amped up for a lot of the matches that we're going to be seeing at the event. And I feel like the quality of the product on TV has been really good the last few weeks. So I'm not going to shit on it in that aspect. I will say, because we're just coming off of Blood and Guts this past Wednesday, if there's maybe one thing that I could critique on the match, well, actually, I guess maybe 2 things. One was the unprotected chair shot that Jack Perry took from Mark Briscoe, but they say that it was a gimmicked chair. I don't know how much of that is true or not, but at the same point in time, seeing the shot and hearing the shot on TV, I was like, especially given what we know about concussions now, and about how bad unprotected chair shots are. That's one thing that you could sit there and say, like, a lot of the heat that they've been getting online on Twitter and everything else, I feel like that's warranted. The other thing too is just the finish of the match itself was kind of like lackluster.
What,
But
a blood glitz match that has a lackluster ending?
Shocking.
Shocking.
But no, it was basically just a payoff to get a Darby Allin and Jack Perry match for the TNT Championship. And yeah, it kind of fell flat, especially when they teased like they were going to light him on fire. And it wasn't Jack Perry that cowered and was like, "Oh no, I quit or I surrender." It was the EVPs. It was Matt Jackson that did it on his behalf. It was like, yeah, I don't know. But no, I mean the quality, a lot of the shit that they did in the match was really good. And even like I said, even some of the angles, like in the women's division, everything, it's got to be peaked.
So I know. Kurt used to always get on my ass about
TNA,
about how I used to shit on AEW, and about how
he get on you more about TNA, but
TNA,
yeah,
like how TNA followed the book of WCW. God damn! So they're about to light somebody on fire, huh? Doesn't that sound so WCW? Hey, let's electrocute fucking Abdullah the Butcher in the middle of the fucking ring. Yeah. And I'm not gonna shit on him because look, I'll give him the props. It's only been like 2 weeks and a quarter. In quarter 3, they're up, and their average TV rating is up by like 14%.
Mm-hmm.
Or 4%, something like that. They're still. It's incredibly concerning that, yeah, they're having great angles, but nobody's watching it, and that's the thing that's still like concerning. Like it is growing a little bit, but then it gets overshadowed, and I think it's the.
I think at the end of the day, and this is something that you and I have talked about too, about what drives ratings. Okay, it's not just matches, it's story. And I feel like you're starting to get more and more storylines that are being integrated into AEW programming, and that's what's catching people's attention. Because like you brought up the whole situation before we went on air with the title belts, and about how the International Championship has now changed its name to the American Championship. All AEW is doing is the exact same thing that New Japan did when Ospreay won the United States Championship, and he changed it to the United Kingdom Championship. It's all storyline between everything that's going on with MJF and Will Ospreay. And I will say this: having MJF back on AEW television has helped a lot. Making him a true heel again has helped a lot. Like, he's back to doing things to purposely get heat. And look, even just a small interaction of that 59-minute, 58-second match that he had with Will Ospreay on Dynamite 2 weeks ago. That was a hell of a match. Definitely one of, I'd say, like top 5 TV matches on AEW. It had a little bit of everything incorporated into it. Anybody that doubted if MJF could keep up with the athleticism of Will Ospreay. Now, granted, MJF can't necessarily do all the things that Ospreay can do, but they complemented each other very well in the ring. It was a great back and forth. But, like, look, the whole thing where they went out into the crowd and they brawled in the crowd, and freaking a little girl, like, Ospreay invites a little girl to, give MJF a hit on the chest or whatever. Like, little touches like that I love. And it's like I said, I feel like, again, MJF being that person that everybody loves to hate, creates ratings. I mean, it makes the product more interesting to watch. So
That's what I was going to say. Where they getting a ratings bump is right when MJF came back into the fold, which is good for them. Yeah,
I mean,
they need somebody to drive the ratings up.
he's a blue chipper. You know, he is AEW. Like I know we've sat there and we've talked about like who is the mascot. Like if you had to sit there and think of like a mascot for AEW, and it's like, oh well, you could make an argument for John Moxley because Moxley's been Moxley's held the championship for the longest time. He was the champion through a lot of their tough periods in the first few years. You can make a compelling case for a Darby Allin or like a couple of other superstars that really cut their teeth and made their name in AEW. But like at the end of the day, to me it's MJF. I feel like the success of the company rides or dies with MJF. He is their Ric Flair. Like as Ric Flair was to the NWA, MJF is that to AEW.
I give you that. And Orange Cassidy is the Sting.
Hey, I love me some Orange Cassidy, but yeah.
I just look like you changed the name of the belt since Orange Cassidy dropped it. Now 3 people already had it. The belt.
Well,
Change the name of the belt. I know storyline driven. Like
the other thing too, though, is that MJF when he took the international championship and threw it in the trash can, and then he had the new belt. Ospreay, when he came out and chased MJF out of the ring, then went and grabbed the belt out of the trash can. So it's like the international championship is not dead. Just as long as MJF is holding the title, it is the United States Championship.
American Championship.
Or excuse me, the American Championship. You are correct.
Yeah. No, that's enough AEW for me. Let's get back to something.
You don't want to get into everything with Mariah May and Timeless Tony Storm. You don't want to get into everything that's going on with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and the CEO, Mercedes Moné. The fact that Camille Brickhouse finally made her return to AEW and is now Mercedes Moné's bodyguard,
no, because
and then potentially this is going to mean when we get to All In, we're going to have the return of my girl, and Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm fucking blanking on her name right now. Jamie Hayter.
Not to hate on it, but they can't touch Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and touch that.
Let's be honest here, because WWE right now got 2 storylines that overshadow anything in wrestling right now.
You could say 3.
There's
actually 4. There's a lot. There's a lot we could talk.
Brewing. I know the third one you probably say would be Cody and
no. No, because I'm guessing you're thinking so Rhea and Liv. The Wyatt 6.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, and then so Drew and CM Punk. I was gonna say yeah.
CM Punk. And then those are the top 2 that's just overshadowing everything because it is going crazy. It's not just them 2. It's not Rhea and Liv. It's Rhea, Liv, Dom,
and then other members
Jey
of the
Uso.
Judgment Day. Oh well, yeah. Now we throw
Jey
Jey Uso into the mix.
Hey, give me a call, mommy.
Dude, and Rikishi's pissed about that. Like Rikishi's like, oh my god, they're trying to break up my son's marriage or whatever. It's like, dude, Rhea's married, Dom's married.
Dom just got married.
Liv is practically married. I mean, like, I will.
Liv is single.
So
and I heard that they.
Here's the thing. I don't know if that's kayfabe or if that's real. Because I feel like a lot of the stuff where she came out is talking about single or being single. That was like right around the time that like some of the Dom stuff started heating up.
Dom stuff, but also too is I think she interviews out of WWE was straight up saying it.
Yeah, well, no, but also
been together. And I started going back. I'm like, I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how real that is. It's quite sus.
And knowing how WWE is right now, they're so tight-lipped on shit, and you don't know. And it's
I don't care. I'm all about it.
It's great. I was like, damn. But yeah, I was like, damn. I'm like, but when Joaquisha said that, I was like, come on, man. It was like, how many times? What half the shit what you did back in the day in WWE? You were married. Did that fuck up your marriage? No. I'm like it's all professional. Like, look, Jay's wife. Man, is that gonna be some checks? Let's go. Make some money because Jay's about to be in some storylines. And I think this might be his last storyline on Raw because I think by come time around Survivor Series, we back on SmackDown.
I don't know. The latest rumor and innuendo right now is that Netflix really, really, really wants Roman Reigns on Raw. So I mean, you never know. I mean, granted, he might be on SmackDown for a minute, but you never know.
Well, I think by the time Survivor Series comes, that's in November. Netflix don't come up until January. So to do the Bloodline War Games, Bloodline War Games, be SmackDown.
I do like though how for the most part they've respected the brand split, and every once in a while they'll like bring somebody over just as oh hey, we have this coming up, and so or like SmackDown is in Chicago, we
Do that, or
yeah.
if they're in like the night before the PLE, like if they're in Toronto, they have the Raw matches because it's part of it's the extenuation of the PLE.
Yeah.
But yeah, not get off topic with Morgan and Ripley. But goddamn, this is so good. It's so fucking good. It's like watching a sitcom.
I knew it was gonna be good before Rhea even got hurt and before Rhea even lost the championship, because you could kind of sort of see what direction they might take it. Then when she was out and Liv was doing her thing, it was kind of like, oh man, this is going to be a nice slow burn. And we didn't know how long Rhea was going to be out. I mean, sometimes you hear shoulder injury, they're out for 6 months. Sometimes they're out longer than that. So the fact that she was able to come back in just 3 months?
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. I didn't think we were going to get it this soon. But, I mean, I could already see the direction that we're going to be heading in for SummerSlam and then post-SummerSlam. And I'm on board.
I think this is going to be very, very good. And, I was always been a big fan of the Judgment Day. But right now, goddamn, that shit's just the Judgment Day part of it. Just all right.
Look,
Carlito, and I'm like,
Rhea.
I love Eddie Carlito.
Dude,
because
Carlito,
fucking funny as fuck.
Carlito is one that it was like when they inserted him in the Judgment Day, I'm like, this makes no sense at all. And then every single week, he has proven that's like, Jesus, he should have been in there from day one. Look, I thought everything with R-Truth was great. I think everything with Carlito has been better. And that is just my humble opinion. He's got his comedic timing down. He's been a great addition, and it's like his one-liners in those segments with the Judgment Day steal the show. And oh my God, just like everything from Liv's hotel room key to Dom trying to talk to Rhea and everything else.
His key took the key.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
like he's fucking 20.
Oh yeah, dude.
He's not 40 something years old. He's 20.
I mean, no, but I'm so amped for that match. And look, I will say this. I think Rhea is on a level now where she doesn't need a belt to be over. Not I guess in a way giving a SummerSlam prediction. I don't see Rhea winning. I don't know if we want to. I mean, we could kind of delve into the reasons why in a little bit, but I don't see Rhea winning. And I don't think it's going to hurt her momentum or her stardom or anything at all.
The only thing I'll say about that is she's been so dominant, and with the belt, everything, and I like this. I don't know, I really want her to have the championship back.
You got to keep it on Liv. And the only reason why I say that is because and like, look, if ever there was a doubt, that I didn't think Liv was going to retain at SummerSlam, I think the way the whole angle went down on Monday just proved for me that Dom is going to be turning on Rhea at SummerSlam. He is going to be aligning himself with Liv, and they are going to be the new quote-unquote power couple. And then look, if it extends that chase for Rhea even more and like she's got to work her way back up and everything, I think that's fine. It's like I don't necessarily need the belt put right back on Rhea. I think Liv as a heel and as potentially the new leader of the Judgment Day, whether it's her or Finn, and we could also talk about the other members of Judgment Day for a second and where their allegiances truly lie. I feel like there's more meat on the Judgment Day bones going in that direction than there is with either Rhea or Damian Priest retaining. So
Yeah, I think it's all. Do I say like I'm thinking about like Damien and retaining? I'm like, not against Gunther.
not against Gunther. It is Gunther's time. And like, look, I've wanted to give Damian the benefit of the doubt. And you've even seen, though, that, like, the crowd has kind of gravitated towards Damian more as a babyface than they treated him as a heel. And even some of his actions are babyface. And so it's like you can tell that, like, he doesn't necessarily – when he's making the comments that he's making about how he doesn't need the Judgment Day needs him, and all this other stuff, it's like you're sowing the seeds right there of dissension. The fact that Liv did something that Rhea couldn't, and that was get them a tag team title shot and get them the tag belts back. Just like a lot of different things, it's like you could see the direction they're going in where they're going to choose. Liv's gotten them the PlayStation 5 with WWE 2K and all this other stuff. Yes. And Rhea doesn't oppose to it. She's opposed to everything else that like Liv has done for Dom and all this other stuff, but she hasn't gotten on them about playing the game in the hangout room and everything.
So actually think about this. Didn't R-Truth got them the TV?
Oh man, now I have to really think on that.
I think if I'm thinking right, like R-Truth got him the TV. Liv got him the fucking PS5. I can see this as becoming a comedic group where they'd be like, "Oh, who else is gonna come in? What else you gonna give us?" But yeah, look, JD Madonna and Finn, I think phenomenal together.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many people that can deserve title runs right now, and it's like crap. I think the one person when it's time to take the belt off of Gunther, I think it should be Finn. I think it's time to give him his run that he deserved that he never had. And that's saying that too because you got so many. The line's so long right now.
Yeah.
But that's so great right now. Like WWE is going. Like I was actually thinking, and I'm like looking through the roster page, and I'm like who's on the roster, and I'm like, damn, I almost see everybody on TV.
That's the thing.
Consistently.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, dude, they have so many great talents that are on the roster, and everybody is fucking hitting their marks, man. Like they're not stumbling at all. So it does get to a point. It's like, look, not everybody can be champion. How do you figure this out?
Yeah.
You know, and like really the only way to do it is with compelling storytelling. And that's kind of to me why I think it's too soon for Rhea to win her championship back. I feel like you have to let Liv have kind of like a run of terror, so to speak. Like her, as she said before, the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour is not complete. It's not complete until she has taken everything away from Rhea. She hasn't taken the Judgment Day away from Rhea yet. And in a certain extent, she hasn't taken Dom away from Rhea yet. But that is all still to come. And I feel like, you know, she has to have that before we have the Rhea Revenge Tour come into play. So that's I guess just my thoughts on that. And then again, like I guess as a quick point with Damian Priest, like I kind of feel like we've seen this with the last few title defenses that he's had. It's not necessarily that he's bad. It just I don't think it's gone over as well as people would have hoped. You know, like one match he's concussed and he can't, he misses a mark there, or he misses a kick out because he's out of it, or he gets tangled up in the ropes and can't. So I mean, it's just been kind of sadly a comedy of errors that I feel like has kind of tarnished his title reign a bit.
Yeah, and also, like I always says, like when he won Money in the Bank, I'm like, I don't know. I like him having the Money in the Bank, but I didn't. The cash in was great, but then I was like, okay, he can lose about the next PLE. I'm not gonna be mad. And then it just like, okay. Now it's time for Gunther. I'm like, okay, now it's over.
I mean, just to me,
I thought, I really thought if they weren't going to do the interference, and the only thing that told me that I was just waiting, I just kept looking around the arena during Money in the Bank. Where is CM Punk? I mean, Clash of the Castle. Where is CM Punk? Because when CM Punk goes, over my dead body, he will ever win a title.
Yep.
And then I'm like, all right, cash it in. I'm like, all right, where's
But
Punk?
I totally.
Where's
I
Punk?
mean, like, look, I think a lot of people called it. I know I went on air and said that like my pick to win Money in the Bank was going to be Drew McIntyre because he's going to try to cash it in that night, and he's going to fail. Like they're going to do to him what they've done with the women's Money in the Bank holders like the last few years. They cash in same night and win the belt. But no, in Drew's case, it's like, nope, he's going to cash in, and right where he thinks he has the victory sealed, CM Punk's going to screw him, and he loses his Money in the Bank cash in. So, but like realistically,
donuts in the presser.
And then realistically, you look at everybody that was involved in that match, from Seth to CM Punk to Drew McIntyre to Damian. Damian's like the fourth most important person in that equation, and he's the champion. That's
I want to go back to Clash of the Castle because of how great WWE shot
yes.
the whole angle. They did a angle that was only going to be shown on digital media, where he asked the referee for a shirt. Do you have extra shirt? And he runs in, and the camera angle has him run in. The only thing you see is
the far shot. You just see a referee sprinting down the aisle.
When he slides in, all you see is Jordans, and I'm like, there he is.
Yeah, you see the back. You see the back of his head. He slides it. Like, look, as soon as I saw the hair, I knew it was him. But you see the back. He's wearing a long sleeve shirt, so you don't see the tattoos or anything. You see the hand go 1, 2, and then stop, and then looks at him and gives him the peace sign, which in the UK that means something completely different.
And then it's the Glasgow Screwjob.
Mm-hmm.
It was phenomenal.
If we're
gonna shoot it,
yeah, if we're gonna jump and we're gonna talk about the Punk and Drew feud, I look everything that they have done. Like, look, this match has been teased since January, since before the Rumble. These two men haven't actually been in a ring in a match together. Punk hasn't wrestled since the Rumble. And the fact that they have built up this much heat with each other to the point where everybody is dying to see this match. I'm on board. Now let me ask you this before we really get back into the Punk and McIntyre of it all. How do you feel about Seth Rollins being inserted as a special guest referee?
I like it. Gonna screw over Punk.
Do you think, and granted, I know that Rollins, in response to what went down at Money in the Bank, was like, I'm going to make your life a living hell. I I don't know. I feel like it's maybe too soon to have him insert a match because, like, I want that first time. It's kind of like I don't know. I guess over glorifying your first time of like having sex. It's like I want that first time to be special. I want that first match between Punk and McIntyre to be special. I don't know how I feel
But
with
the thing is,
added element.
But the thing is, truly, it never was Punk and McIntyre. It's always been Punk, McIntyre, Rollins. Because it's always about, okay, I'm going after you, McIntyre, but it's always the one that's always the gets screwed over is Rollins. So like, yes, in Money in the Bank, he got screwed over, but also too, Punk.
Where else?
inserted-
Well, wait. Where else did Rollins get screwed over?
Not screwed over, but it was a nuisance. He was more being a nuisance to Rollins, with him being on commentary at the WrestleMania for that match. It was because Rollins was distracted a couple times with Punk. It's always been. Ever since
Well, like
he's
I
been
know
back,
that
it's been
the original match at WrestleMania was going to be Rollins and Punk because of a lot of their beef from Twitter and in the press junkets and everything else.
So this like this is like, I think it's a 3-way dance, and it just like now like it gets slowly. The highlight is McIntyre versus Punk, but the deal here is, I think the storyline is, it's not about Punk. It's Punk screwing over McIntyre, but it's Rollins screwing over Punk.
If I will say this, if Rollins wasn't announced for the match and it was just a straight match between the two of them, and Rollins interfered in the match a la like Punk has interfered in McIntyre's matches, like last second Punk is about to have the match won, and then Rollins appeared from out of nowhere and cost him. I feel like I'd have been more on board with that than having Rollins shoehorned in as a special guest referee.
But I also like the fact that you can also make it to where Punk overcomes it. Oh, Rollins keeps short counting. Let's say CM Punk had McIntyre 2 times, a little legit 3 count. Seth short counts. Punk says fuck this shit, starts attacking fucking goes after Rollins, takes him out, and then we get another referee come in, 1, 2, 3, and overcomes it or falls short because of it, and then continuation. I think this is a 3-way match build that's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Epic proportions for everything.
I think it's gonna be good regardless. It's just kind of like personal preference. I would have rathered Punk and McIntyre solo, but to each their own. Everybody's got their opinion.
But like going back to Clash of the Castle, the fucking asshole. So like, I'm gonna say this: CM Punk's is not a face. He's not a heel.
He's gray.
He's not gray. He's a fucking asshole.
He's brown.
That motherfucker at the presser, the after show, went in there having donuts, but was wearing a fucking Germany fucking soccer jersey after Germany beat the pants off of Scotland in the Euros. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what a dick. That's a dude. You have heels, you have faces, you have gray, and you have assholes. That's an asshole. And I love it.
But dude, what was amazing was like as much as the crowd, as much as there were people in the crowd that were booing, there were almost as many that were cheering and fucking welcomed him.
Selfies was killing me. I was like,
oh yeah,
dude, like really? I'm like, damn.
No, dude, Clash at the Castle was a fucking home run. Like it was a great show.
I love the fact now WWE realizes when they do these out of country shows, we're gonna put a decibel reader on here because we're gonna see how high that shit is. And I'm like, I love it. I love it.
And who knows if it is actually like accurately reading stuff? It doesn't matter.
So the company that they use for the decibel reading is legit. It's one. I looked into that one because I was like, 'cause I looked at decibel counter. I'm like, I seen that decibel counter before, in like in other.
Yeah, I've seen
endings.
him at Saints games, and it's like, eh.
Yeah, so legit. I'm like, I like it because now it's pinning other cities against each other. Wait for Berlin.
Oh.
Paris was, France was phenomenal. Oh, Scotland was even better. Toronto was great. Berlin, you're up. I guarantee you, and it's going to be around the same time around AEW's London show. Berlin's going to come out and it's going to blow the fucking roof. It just they can't do nothing wrong. I don't know. Like it's like I'll be honest, like a lot of people go like get wrestling fatigue after WrestleMania. And I felt it and I was like, God, like some of my friends would come up and ask me, goes, God, I don't know about Cody being champion. I just don't. I'm like, dude, you just fatigued from the bloodline storyline with him.
Yep.
Just wait, let them cook, and then now, god damn,
He's at quality. I mean, dude, he's at
this
quality.
is coming great.
Yeah, no, he's at quality matches, and then everything that's going on with Bloodline 2.0 right now.
Yeah, that storyline, I'm like, damn.
We had a show, or we had a podcast a couple months ago where we were talking about Bloodline 2.0, and we're talking about how it's great to see Tama Tonga and Tongaloa in there, and it's like they're missing something new, and it's like I'm not big on this version of the Bloodline because they still lose on TV way too much. It's like they're missing something. Well, come to find out, that missing piece was Jacob Fatu. And ever since he has debuted on TV, Bloodline 2.0, I feel like, has definitely been shown in a much better light than it had been before.
And then the report saying they did sign the third
Hikuleo.
I'm like, holy shit, like what are we going? Holy fuck, like 2.0 is going to be. That's why I was like, I'm looking 5. Okay, that's 5, right? That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. The original Bloodline minus Solo
Sikoa.
Oh shit. Roman has to now probably have to grovel and come back and be like, Jay, Jimmy, I need you. Then they have to go back, Sammy, I need you. And then has to probably turn around and be like, Cody, I respect you.
Yeah.
But then it's like, all right, so you got Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Sammy. Do you go with Cody? Or do you do the one thing you would never think you would do? You get Paul Heyman and be like, Paul, make the call.
Brock.
Bring in Brock. And then you have those 5 versus the Bloodline 2.0 in War Games.
Dude, I like, to me,
I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
But to me, like, I think Brock fits that mold more than Cody. Just especially from a fact of like, okay, yes, Cody and Roman did go to war with each other over the course of a year plus. But like the number of times that Brock and Roman have faced off against each other, like fuck, just look at how many times they faced each other at WrestleMania.
And with the Paul Heyman
connection, I would love to see Jacob Fatu and Brock Lesnar have a go. You want to talk about big men slapping man meat? Let's slap some meat.
I don't think there's a cage big strong enough to hold all those. I mean that's gonna be a war, and that would like I think about that and I look at that and I'm like, okay, I'm excited for that. I'm like, okay, dude, the prospect of it's gonna even be, I think, gonna be better than what the original Bloodline was, and which is, it's crazy.
I feel like in order for the Bloodline to kind of take that next step, when we look at what's going on with like the SmackDown Tag Championships, I feel like you have to have the Guerrillas of Destiny win the tag belts. One.
Which is coming.
Yeah.
I think that's DIY.
Yeah, I think they put it on DIY so that when that time does come, it's going to be an easy transition. I feel like it's too soon to take the belt off of Cody and put it on Solo. That's my opinion. I don't
Yeah.
feel like Solo's ready for that yet.
No.
And then United States Championship. I know that LA Knight is going to be. There's a good chance he's going to be winning that from Logan Paul at SummerSlam. And I feel like he needs to have a decent run with it, but like at the same point in time, when he does end up dropping the belt, it should go to
Solo.
somebody in the bloodline.
We'll go Solo.
Because Solo hasn't held a belt yet.
Exactly. That was, it's crazy. Like the funny thing, like with DIY winning the championships in Toronto, where they won when they won the NXT titles.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus fucking Christ! I'm like, I'm so glad. I'm so happy
Yeah.
that they did. Like storylines, like it's just like it's crazy how WWE's put it in the storylines. Then we get finally after months. It was April, May, June, and finally we get the debut of the Wyatt Six.
Okay. Because I know, like right after the debut, you were like, "We need to do a show," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't." But let's talk about it. What are some of your thoughts as far as like the Wyatt Six, their presentation, how they debuted, everything?
I love the fact that it's not like brave. It's not like a demon, like a supernatural type of thing. This is a group that looking to destroy it, like destruction and destroy characters. And I think how they did it, the initial of how they just did a massacre in the gorilla position, I fucking loved it. I loved the camera, how the camera worked. Only I didn't like was the part where it looked like he had
He got shot in the head. Chad Gable.
Chad Gable got shot in the head, and I was like, okay, no one's holding a gun, but okay. But
What I loved was, so just from a framing standpoint, okay, what I loved about that whole presentation was they made it a point after Drew McIntyre was like, "I quit," and he walks out and he leaves. They make it a point to show Gorilla and show the backstage area and everything looking normal.
and then they also showed that Triple H and
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce left, following him, trying to talk to him,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like, holy shit.
So it's one of those things where, they kind of, you have your expectation of what the back's gonna be like, so that when you do end up making the debut of the Wyatt Six and the camera does go to the back and you see everything destroyed, you're like, okay, you've seen the before and then the after. I thought all of that was shot great. I loved everybody having their kind of individual moments in that introduction to the group. Then the questions started coming in, and this is like, this has been my, and a lot of fans really, kind of pet peeve when it comes to Bray Wyatt and a lot of his characters that he's come up with over the years, ever since the Eater of Worlds. It's like, to me, that is peak Bray Wyatt. Loved everything with the Firefly Funhouse. Found that shit entertaining. Even like The Fiend when The Fiend first debuted. All the stuff with Uncle Howdy, the QR codes and everything before he made his return at the Rumble was great.
The build up in the story, phenomenal.
The build up and everything is always great. And then the bell rings. And it's like, how do you transition that to the ring? And more often than not, it's been a swing and a miss. And so that is still one reservation that I have with this group. I love everything. The vignettes that they've been showing on Raw the last few weeks, the videotape, like the whole presentation of Abby, or Nikki Cross, crawling out from under the ring and delivering, a box that you...
Just not at SmackDown, on
Yeah.
It's been. I look at it this way, like the Bray Wyatt. Yeah, the matches were fucking crap. Okay, that's great. Did not translate onto the ring. I'll say this though, and one thing I'll say is, it's great entertainment. That I don't care if it goes in the ring. They don't even wrestle a fucking match. If they can just, like storyline, they can do it. Like I know they're going to be having matches, but also like the fact that they're also portraying themselves too in the videos.
Yeah.
So it's like knowing that when they wrestle, they're not going to be in masks.
Or if they are in masks, because even look at like what happened this past Monday when Uncle Howdy, Taylor Rotunda, or they still insist on calling him Bo Dallas, and I'm like, it's like we've known him as Taylor Rotunda now for the last like year. It's like just use his fucking name. But like if we're gonna go with Bo Dallas, fine. But I like that when Bo Dallas got his, spot back or got his heat back after they beat him up last week and he did nothing but laugh the entire time and was a glutton for pain. The mask that he wore was like a modified Howdy mask compared to what he had in prior iterations. And it's like if he is going to wrestle with this, I'd be okay with it. I think most people would be okay with members of the Wyatt Six wrestling in like masks or whatever, if you take the supernatural element out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're doing with these vignettes and the interviews is they take
Yeah.
the supernatural, and that's what I like about it. Take the supernatural. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult of Bray Wyatt.
Which to me that was peak Bray Wyatt when it was just the original Wyatt family.
It's fucking phenomenal. And then news I heard was that Alexa Bliss is back in training now, and so that it's going to be the Wyatt Six. And I also heard that Braun Strowman was talking about maybe that there's a chance that he might be in it, but like so the question is like, I think it's going to be. I think we're going to find out that at the end of the day, it's going to be the leader. Pulling the strings is going to be Alexa. And I think when that comes full circle, I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be fucking off the top emotional. And I think it's going to be great. I think to me it's just great. It's just something. I'd rather watch
it's
that
different.
than shit on TV.
It's different, and like I will give WWE their props with this because we started to kind of see it more, or we've seen it more and more in this past year. But I love like a lot of the things where they, like the backstage stuff with Jey Uso, where Jey Uso is in the rotunda, so to speak, and is like out with the fans or whatever, and then the camera just follows him through that, and then into the crowd, and now we are into the arena. We're heading to the ring. The stuff where a car pulls up backstage, like in the parking lot, and then we follow them from the parking lot through backstage to Gorilla and then out to the ring. I love that they're doing more and more sequences like that because it's showing a much different side of things, and it's giving us different vantage points that we've had in the past.
It's showing more. It's doing more sports videography, i.e. following the athletes when they're coming into the arena or to the stadiums, like football players and basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving spots, what time they're showing up.
Yeah.
It makes it more like...
It's more engaging to me.
It's more engaging, but goddamn, just...
It kind of, in a sense, it kind of satisfies an itch because...
When we started this show... It was the first couple months when we started talking about the current product. I remember saying Raw sucks. Raw sucks.
That's
Raw is too long. It needs to be 2 hours. I remember saying Raw needs to be 1 hour because it's just that terrible. And now I come to myself watching Raw and I'm like,
I want
We
more.
don't have enough time. We
Yeah.
need more. We need another hour.
It's well,
We need another 2 hours.
but it's also one of those things like a lot of the vignettes and everything. It scratches that itch of like wrestling fans that like always want to know what's going on behind the scenes or like the dirt sheet aspect of it. In a sense, and no, it doesn't like fully satisfy that. But it's like it gives you a little taste of that, a little morsel. And yeah, no, I mean we have come a long, long way since 2000 or 2020. Sorry.
Yeah.
That just the overall quality of the product, the quality of the presentation. I mean, God,
Crazy.
how hard did we shit on that Land of the Dead match, like with the Miz and the fucking zombies around the ring and everything else? That was fucking terrible.
It comes full circle now. We got a Prime logo on the middle of the ring. Prime, they're doing advertisements. They're doing the full potential, maximum potential of WWE, what it could do. It's becoming the NFL. They know how to market. They're marketing better. They know how to do it. They're following how the NFL did it perfectly. NBA followed that playbook. Now WWE is following that playbook, and I'm ready for what they have to come because it's been touching gold. Speaking about things they're doing different, it has been announced that Minnesota will be getting SummerSlam not next year but the year after, and it's going to be 2 days.
I'm kind of surprised that they're going to be waiting that long though to bring it to 2 days. Like, did they announce where SummerSlam was going to be next year?
No.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. It was like, okay, Minnesota's getting it 2 years from now. It's like, huh? Because normally they announce venues in some instances like less than a year in advance. It's like
Yeah, so like I think it was
it's like usually they make the WrestleMania announcement.
They were in the running. I think literally they had the pen to paper for WrestleMania, and then
Las Vegas slapped its dick on the table.
The Philadelphia, the coldness in Philadelphia, kind of rubbed it. And even though Minnesota's going to be indoors, Vegas came to the table and there's like, look, no, here's a credit card, here's a black card,
Yeah.
charge it on us, and so, which makes it more interesting. But also too, okay, so they're gonna give Minnesota, but they're gonna do a 2-day SummerSlam, which I think maybe next year we'll go to 2 days, but we don't know where it's gonna be at.
Right.
And that's gonna be the thing. Like, who knows? But
I like how Simon Miller started referring to SummerSlam as Hot WrestleMania, because especially like with the whole 2-day deal, it's like it's just gonna call it Hot WrestleMania. Yeah, this match is going down at Hot WrestleMania. Looking forward to it.
So like I think it's gonna be interesting. And then they announced this week that they were in London talking to the mayor of London about bringing WrestleMania to London. They still have to have some more conversations with that.
I don't care about
it's
what the
coming.
start time would be here. I'm all for it. Like, it's especially now that WrestleMania is 2 days and we're doing it over Saturday and Sunday. It's like, yeah, man, make a weekend out of it. Shoot.
It's a weekend.
So you can make a weekend out of it anyway. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
look, I'm clearing my schedule. I'm making sure I'm free. Yeah.
Which got me thinking is like, well, shit, it's now becoming the Super Bowl. It's not where we want to have it. It's cities bidding for it.
That's huge for
That's
WWE.
Crazy to think about this. We're talking about
Really, and like, granted, I'm not sure necessarily where you could put a finger on it, but I would say like you could look
The
at
second
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans
Yeah, I
was-
was about to say like the second New Orleans, because like very rarely, not since WrestleManias 4 and 5 has a city gotten that quick of a turnaround on Manias.
yeah.
And it's like the fact that the city of New Orleans went all out and they were like, look, it's our tricentennial anniversary in 2018. We're all about going big this year. Like, we would really like y'all back. And the fact that they basically threw the war chest at them and convinced them. And
They
it's,
did.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time that probably a city bidded for WrestleMania. Um, so like, yeah, I think that hey, let's be honest. Nashville, Tennessee Titans. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. They're building a new stadium, and it has nothing to do with the fucking team. Yes, Nissan Stadium is straight trash, but the key things they said was, we're hoping to bring in Super Bowl. We want to host Super Bowls, Final Fours, and WrestleManias. They're gonna build this stadium, and then they're gonna throw money. They're gonna get Super Bowls. It's already been guaranteed a Super Bowl, and there's a WrestleMania that's already been
But even
guaranteed for them too. So
even taking
it's
that,
crazy.
even taking like the NFL out of the equation, even some of those events, just as big of a music city as Nashville is, and the fact that like you're seeing more and more stadium tours with some of these performers. I mean, shit, Zach Bryan was just in New Orleans yesterday, and the show was at the Superdome. I mean, Taylor Swift, a lot of the venues that she's running on her tour are stadium shows.
There's-
Say you're starting to see more and more.
if Taylor Swift does an arena show, she has to be at a city for a whole week.
Right. It's so I
She has-
mean,
right now she's doing two days at each stadium, which is ridiculous.
some instances 3 days. I mean, it's
Dude.
like, yo.
Look, I got
Um,
so much respect for that.
But I mean, just from an entertainment standpoint, like just musical entertainment standpoint, it's like you have to have a world class stadium to host some of those venues or to host some of these events. And so, no, it makes sense for Nashville to want to build a new stadium, not just for the team, but also for a lot of these other events that are coming through.
yeah, like for most of the when they put a statement saying Super Bowl, Final Fours, WrestleMania, I'm like,
yeah.
whoa, hey, see. So there's, and that so like the stadiums are being built, okay, right? So you got a dome, you're in about, or if you're in the South and you have an open air stadium, which pretty much no one does no more.
Yeah, it's
Think
getting
about
harder
it.
and harder to justify. Shit, just even look at the weather we've had the last like week and a half, 2 weeks. It's been like rain every fucking day.
Like,
This is the kind of weather in the summertime that I would hate when I was a kid playing baseball because it's like, Jesus, the game's going to be rained out again.
well,
Now as an adult, I love it because I get to stay in bed all day.
so but like all the NFL stadiums in the South now will be retractable or dome stadiums, except for Florida's stadiums, which I still don't understand. I never understand why Tampa didn't build a freaking dome stadium. There's it's the lightning capital of the country, and we're gonna have an open air stadium. We're gonna have like shitload of lighting delays. I don't get it, but yeah. So with that too, like with cities bidding, I put down the question that came to my mind is, how soon are we going to have a Saudi Arabia Super Bowl? I mean,
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. A Saudi Arabia Super Bowl too.
Different podcast, Ramsey.
But yeah,
No,
well,
dude.
Super Bowl wrestling. Let's put it on there.
I mean, it's. I think it's really just a matter of time because the Saudis have more than enough money to make it happen. But I mean, again, WWE. WWE has had that 10-year deal, so maybe it's one of those things that, like, at the very end of said deal, it's like it caps off with a WrestleMania. You're already doing 2 shows over there every year.
So then I start thinking, I'm like, well, let's just not stop there. What about a Paris WrestleMania? Because
Well-
I'll tell you right now, I watched the opening ceremonies today. Holy shit!
Them do.
Let's applaud that shit.
I haven't actually had a chance to watch the opening ceremonies yet, but I'd seen like what the plans were, like everything that Paris did in order to prepare for the Olympics, and the fact that they were going to do the Parade of Champions instead of doing it like everybody enter a stadium like they almost always do. It's like, oh no, they're all going to come in on rafts down and barges down the Seine River. Like, that's pretty badass.
The on TV, I don't know, the TV didn't do justice, but I was like it all. Now the performances that they did, because they were like all along, because it's just like it's a 3 mile track, 300,000 people, and they had like the shows going straight down. So they had like the performances going down the river, like on the side. And the thing was, is just like they couldn't rehearse it. There was no place to rehearse this. So this was like one take, and I was just in awe. I'm like, damn, they give them a WrestleMania, and I don't want to take away from wrestling, but if you guys haven't seen what the Cauldron is, fucking awesome. They lit up a hot air balloon. It's a hot. It's at the same point where the first hot air balloon went up.
Mm-hmm.
And they did like the basket is on fire is the cauldron, and it's floating above fucking Paris. Fucking awesome.
All right.
It's just like I was just sitting there. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Wait, you were talking about for the Olympic flame?
Yeah,
Damn. Okay.
it's over. It's floating. It's in the same spot, but it's floating. It's above Paris.
Huh.
And you can be in Paris, look up, and you can see the Olympic torch. It is, I think it's phenomenal. What they did to Alpha Tower alone in lighting, the light show, oh, fuck, dude. It's a must watch. I know that you can watch the replay on Peacock.
Yeah.
But also,
Like if you're watching WWE, there's a good chance you got Peacock. So.
they're showing the replay tonight on prime time, but then they're also going to re-show it again at midnight, which I might have it on the side when I'm playing some Assassin's Creed. So it's just like I got thinking, I'm like, dude, you put a WrestleMania in there and let them do what they can do. Holy shit!
No, I mean, I do think it kind of, again, it opens your eyes up when you do a lot of the smaller shows, a lot of the smaller PLEs internationally. Like, yeah, definitely a WrestleMania in some of these venues is like untapped potential. And, like, yes, I get it's an American company, and most people are drilled into WrestleMania being at like 7, like starting at 7 or 6 o'clock or whatever. But I mean, like, look, if you're truly a global brand, if you're going to put the world in world wrestling entertainment, you have to take some of those big marquee events out of the country. So, it's like you're getting comfortable over there.
I'm getting ready for our next segment.
Oh boy.
We got like a little game. I got a little made a little game for you.
Oh, did you now?
Yes, I did. So, I got a game. It's basically gonna be choose one. Gonna give you a list of names, and you get to choose one, and that's it. You only can choose one out of the group.
Okay, so this is like categories.
Yeah, there's six categories.
Okay.
So, we'll start with the first category, and once I start naming the names, you pretty know what the category is.
Oh God. Oh, so am I guessing the category or
No, you have to pretty much out of all this, you get to pick one. Everyone else gets Thanos snapped.
Oh, okay.
So you get to pick one name out of it, and that's it.
All right.
Pick one, and I'll tell you which one I would pick.
Okay.
Swerve Strickland, Mark Briscoe, Nick Nemeth, Ethan Page, Damian Priest, Cody Rhodes. They are all world champions, or in case NXT champion.
Mm-hmm.
Pick your champion.
Oof.
Told you you're gonna fucking hate me for it.
No. To me, it's a coin flip between Swerve and Cody. God. Ooh. As much as I love Cody, I'll go with Swerve in this instance because I think with Swerve, there's a lot of untapped potential, or a lot that we've yet to see that I'm dying to see. So I'll go with Swerve on that one.
My choice on that list would be Cody.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, like I said, it's flip a coin, but for the sake of it, I'll go with Swerve.
I think out of everybody, I think Cody is probably more world champion. He has the essence of a world champion.
Well, no, he has the true essence of a champion.
So the next category, Toni Storm, Athena, Jordan Grace, Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, Bailey.
That's another one that's tough. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Liv on that
Ooh.
one.
I would
Here-
did not think about that.
Here's why I would go with Liv. Because she is, to me, the epitome of hard work. Somebody that maybe debuted on TV way too soon, but worked at it and strove to get better and has gotten a lot better. The Liv Morgan that you see now in the ring is night and day compared to the original Liv that debuted with the Riot Squad.
Totally agree.
And the other thing too, though, is that like I think whether she's face or heel, I think she can thrive in both roles. And so, like, just to me, hard work pays off. I'm all about that all day. So I'm gonna go with Liv.
I'm choosing Roxanne Perez.
And you could make I feel like you can make the same argument for Roxana that that I made with Swerve, and the fact that like there is untapped potential. It's like she's already great, but like where she can go
I think
is
the first title reign was untapped potential. I think this title reign that she had, I think the victory over Jordan Grace and how that match progressed, it put me a whole new level watching Roxanne Perez. And I'd be like, damn, and her aggression and how her aggression's coming out. It's like kind of like a progression of Liv. You see the little, and then you see the aggressiveness, and then coming out, you go, I'm like, you see it, and it's like, god damn, it's like, yeah, she's not trying to be the baby face. She's just trying to look, I'm about winning this title and keeping my title. And I just think that with that, it's I think she's coming into her own, and I really can't wait. I think she's gonna have this belt until what's her name comes back. I can't think of her fucking name. The former girlfriend of Braun Breaker.
Cora Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until Cora Jade gets back, which should hopefully be like in a month or two or so after her knee injury. All right. So the third group is going to be our secondary titles, part 1. So these are, I consider traditional, the most traditional secondary titles. This is the TNT title, the Ring of Honor TV title, the TNA X Division, the NXT North American, the WWE IC, and the WWE US.
But we're not picking title. We're picking person.
No, you're picking
so,
person.
Yeah.
So you got Jack Perry, Atlantis Jr., who's the Ring of Honor TV champion, Mike Bailey, who's the TNA X Division champion, Oba Femi, who's the NXT North American champion, Sami Zayn, the WWE IC champion, and Logan Paul, the WWE US champion.
Let me get your take first.
Obi Femi is a fucking monster. I can't. You talking about Jacob Fatu and Brock? Obi Femi, Jacob Fatu, and Brock all in a triple. You have to reinforce that ring 16 times.
Oh man.
Obi Femi is, dude. You want to talk about like still raw? He's still raw, and he's just so fucking dumb, but he's so good. He just out the right out. You watch him and you be like, God damn.
You know, I gotta say, I've started seeing more and more of this person's work online, and like the more I watch, the more I'm captivated, and it's just kind of crazy once you actually hear his story. The fact that he worked on the independent scene for 17 years in Canada before he actually made his debut with the national company, and that being TNA. I'm just so impressed with Speedball Mike Bailey's story, and like that, you know, that's a guy that like, man, like it is. I mean, like he's been wrestling since he was, I believe, 16 years old. So it's almost like a la like a Jeff Hardy type of deal where it's like a kid in the ring
Yeah.
cutting his chops. But like I want to see Speedball Mike Bailey get that bigger platform and really showcase his work because he really is amazing to watch in the ring. And so out of that group, as much as I love Sammy, and I do feel like Logan Paul taking to wrestling like a duck to water, like it's been really impressive. But like I want Speedball Mike Bailey to get that
You know
bigger
why I didn't choose
platform.
Logan Paul? I was very disappointed with him this past weekend. For all his run, he carried a U.S. title every fucking place he went,
Mm-hmm.
except for Saturday night at his brother's fucking fight. He did not have it.
Look, and
I was
as
like,
much as much shit as you give AEW, I will say Mercedes Moné being courtside during the NBA Finals when the Celtics won, rocking the TBS championship, that was big. That was big promotion for the company. So yeah, when you're in those big primetime opportunities, you got to show off the gold, get the word out.
so the secondary titles, part 2. So I would have had the AEW International title on this thing, but renaming it, I brought it down because
I don't.
I
ca-
think it lost its prestige.
I don't.
What-
I don't care what names you give me. It's gonna be MJF. it's gonna be MJF.
I'm just saying why this title was not in the first group.
Yeah, no. I don't care. You can read off all the names. It's gonna be MJF.
All right, so I'm still gonna read them off. So for the AEW American Champion MJF, the Ring of Honor Pure Championship Real Yuta, TNA Digital Champion PCO, AEW Continental Champion Okada, NXT Heritage Cup Tony D'Angelo, WWE Speed Champion Andrade.
And my answer still stands as MJF. Because, I mean, like, look. Not that he was bad as a babyface. I think more so storyline and writing and legitimate injuries kind of derailed where all of that could have potentially gone. But just as a pure fucking heel. And as a guy that everybody is chasing, whether it be for a diamond ring, for a championship belt, it doesn't matter. He is the guy you build your company around.
That's all good and everything, but he's been out of action for a while. Just coming back. I love the Tony D'Angelo story in NXT, the Heritage Cup.
I like Tony D. Tony D was one of the very few bright spots of NXT 2.0.
It's still been with the family, even like when they finally won the tag team title, it was great. But then now he won the Heritage Cup. It's just like it doesn't make sense, but it's fucking great. And how they do it, like Tony D, underrated. The problem is I don't think this story what they do would work in the main roster.
Yeah.
But NXT, I love it. I just love it right now. Like I'll give it its due. We go to the men's tag teams. Well, tag teams. We're gonna have AEW Tag Team Champions Young Bucks, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions Undisputed Era, TNA Tag Team Champions ABC, the WWE World Tag Team Champions Judgment Day, the WWE Tag Team Champions DIY, and the NXT Tag Team Champions Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Let you know that this is not a great group of tag teams. I'm saying that, and 2 of my favorite tag teams on this list.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Personally,
I'm thinking. So now, who's your pick, and then I'll give you
I'm
mine.
going to do the Judgment. I'm going to give it to the Judgment Day.
Mm.
Because even though the storyline still with it and everything, everything just with it, it's just great. It's good. It's good television, compelling television. Also, DIY winning. It's coin toss. Fuck it. I'm giving it to Shawn Michaels and Triple H wannabes.
DIY, yeah. I was gonna say like that might have been my pick. Yeah, like oh man,
It's hard. It's a tough group because it's all very underwhelming.
I mean, not like I don't necessarily think the Young Bucks are underwhelming. Because I mean, like, look, I do find a lot of their matches entertaining.
I won't say underwhelming. How about them holding belts tiring?
Yes, yes. I'll still go with the Bucks, if only because, from an entertainment standpoint, a lot of like my favorite tag matches that I have seen over the last few years, the Bucks have been involved in it. Whether they've gone over or not, whether they've been heel or face, they do make some entertaining matches. The thing that rubs me the wrong way about the Bucks, though, is that selling is not one of their strong suits, and that's something that kind of rubs me the wrong way with them. But I remember that cage match with them and the Lucha Brothers at All Out 2021. And like, just to me, that was one of the best tag team matches that I have seen on TV. Like, I even still hold that match in high regard today amongst like tag matches. So no, like, I'll go with the Bucks, but yeah, you're right. That crop of teams there's not one that stands out that I'm like, ooh, yes.
Our last group, we got women's secondary / tag teams because there's only two companies with tag team belts, and so we just combine all together. So we have TNA Knockout Tag Team Champions Alicia Edmonds. I can't read my writing, and Masha
Slamovich.
There you go. I can't.
Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich.
WWE Tag Team Champions Unholy Union. We have the
Is that what Isla Dawn and Alba Fire call it? Oh, okay. I haven't. I don't think I've heard that name. Or I don't think I've heard them called by that name on SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah.
I always hear them referred to as Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Like,
Unholy Union.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Mercedes Moné, the TBS champion. Billy Starks, the Ring of Honor TV champion. Kalani Jordan, the first NXT North America champion. And I put on here because I consider it's not a belt, but it is something. Tiffany Stratton, Money in the Bank.
Tiffy time.
I think last week when the case got destroyed, we're about to get the pink case now, and I can't wait for it.
She said, "Yeah, no. We were getting the Barbie bedazzled case. I'm ready."
So yeah, to me it's Tiffany Stratton. Now I would say this: if Sol Ruca would have won that title, won the North American, Sol Ruca would have been my choice, because I think like I keep saying, I told you, gotta watch her, keep eye on her. She's the female Randy Orton. That move can be out of anywhere. and it's phenomenal because it's so acrobatic. And I'm just like, just how she does it is just like so great.
Yeah, but like, again, just to show like kind of the trajectory that Tiffany Stratton's been on, it's like she's wrestled now for what, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
And she's already good. I'm not going to say she's great yet, but she's already really good. And like, you just look at how she's gotten over with the fans, even as a heel. When they were in Australia, oh my God. Like, when she got eliminated and the crowd shat on the match for a solid 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, it was
just like, ooh.
It's amazing. Actually, we could have put on here, I forgot, is the 2 spots, King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. But they wouldn't won either.
But I feel like I feel like the right person, like, even just going back, like, I feel like the right person won both of those. Even like Nia Jax. Like, look, actually, I was having a conversation with somebody about this at work the other day because they were talking about like Bailey calling Nia fat. Like, oh, you can't do that anymore. But I'm like, dude, Nia called out Bailey the week before that, talking about the junk in the trunk and all that other stuff, like BBM Bailey or whatever. Like just Nia was one. We brought up, 2020 and how we were shitting on Raw. Nia was someone that we shat on a consistent basis because of her hurting talent and being sloppy in the ring. You want to talk about somebody cleaning up their act, and like, I feel like she's been severely underrated since she's been back. Like, she has gotten better in the ring. I feel like she's better as a heel.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And, like, having her be that monster of the women's division is a good thing. Like, giving my kudos and giving my flowers to Nia Jax, because she's definitely most improved over this past year.
And I've been saying it for a couple months now that I think her return, she's been the best that she's ever been now. And I'm like, I was the hardest critic saying that she was straight trash garbage, that didn't even cut her. I think actually through a celebration when she did get cut, unfortunately, but hey, things happen. But like, it's that thing. It's like, damn, you get cut from WWE, you go reinvent yourself, come back and you just kill it.
I mean, but that's a lesson to a lot of that's lesson to a lot of wrestlers, is like, especially a lot of like the younger talent. You look at the people that have been cut and gone away and then came back bigger than ever. I mean, fuck, Cody Rhodes is a prime example of that now. Look at Drew McIntyre, like when he got cut and then came back. I mean, it's like, just because, your time is up at one stage of life. Hell, even LA Knight is another prime example of it. Like, look, maybe it was too early, maybe it was too soon, maybe you weren't ready. But, like, you keep grinding at it and you keep putting in the hard work, and it'll pay off in the end.
So I got one more thing. It's going to be the most asshole thing I ever did. I ever asked you.
Oh, boy.
Fuck, marry, kill. Rhea, Liv, Tony Storm.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. That's hard. And those three names, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get his ass on this one.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah, because I love all three women.
I know.
I love them all.
I know. That's why I chose those three.
Oh, man. I'll just say, look, I'll marry Liv, because I will marry Liv just because, from like just to get for background matter, like, she's a big gamer. I'm a big gamer.
Let me tell you something, man. That's the wrong answer.
Look, this is my personal. Just hold on. No. Look, I haven't even gone over the other.
No. There's a way for you to do this. There's only one right answer. Is you kill all three of them. Lindsay and Lindsay is the Marion.
You bastard.
Come on, man.
Oh,
I'm not even married. I know that answer.
Well, dude, yeah.
I know that answer.
This is the hypothetical. Come on.
I don't know, but it's the right answer. I've been getting people on that all week.
You're a bastard.
Oh,
for the record, I love my wife.
Everybody who's married, I talk to, hey man, what do you think?
Actually,
Fuck, kill, blah blah. Wrong answer.
Actually, so no, funny story though. So she's been giving me shit all week because Chris and I were going to see Deadpool and Wolverine last night, and we didn't ask her if she wanted to come, especially because of what midnight showing. Here's the thing though. Like, early screenings of movies, that's been Chris and I's things. It's like one of the big bases of our friendship. That's like our thing to do, okay? So, like, yeah, no, I didn't invite Lindsay. Because also Lindsay's very particular, like, oh, I got to wake up early for work and blah, 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 blah. So, like, a 9:30. And granted, it's not a midnight screening like it's been in the past. We saw a 9:30 screening. But it's like we're getting out of the movie close to midnight or after midnight. I didn't want to hear it.
It's Deadpool Wolverine, though.
It is. She's actually seeing it right now. Like, part of the reason why I was like, oh, yeah, no, dude, like, Friday, I'm wide open. Let's do a podcast on Friday is because she went with Chris to go and see the movie tonight with Chris's mom. So I was like, okay, yeah, cool, babe. You go do that. I'll go do a podcast.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
But no, like
I actually was thinking, like, damn, you're free on a Friday night. How come we didn't do a fucking game night? Now you say that. Now it makes sense now.
no, but no, I love my wife, dude.
Yeah, I know.
One and only.
I know, but I've been getting everybody. I got my cousin Saturday. I was like, dude.
I think
I told him, it's a Catwoman, Scarlet Witch, or freaking Black Widow. He's like, ooh. You start thinking. I said, you're thinking too much. It's kill all three of them. Your wife and your wife is the other two. He's like,
but okay,
Yeah.
but okay. Let's take this aside. Like, let's legitimately do it. Fuck, marry, kill. What would be your fuck, marry, kill out of the three?
Tony Storm's getting killed. Let's see. I like fucking crazy, so I would marry Liv and fuck Rhea.
See, like, so to me, I would kill Rhea just because I don't think I could handle Rhea. I think I would have to kill her before she killed me.
I can handle Rhea.
I'm not worthy. I'll say it. I'm not worthy.
It's more thing. See, Tony's Australian. They're both Australian, so.
Mm-hmm. See, like, I
dig
feel like the character of Timeless Tony Storm. It's like that's enough crazy for one night in the sack. I don't know if I could handle that kind of crazy long term.
Like, see, the problem with me, so, I'm bad with tattoos. I had a friend. She was tattooed, and be in the middle of doing, and then I just stopped because I'm like tracing her tattoos with my finger, and I get lost. She's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, just tracing your tattoo." Like, are you gonna finish or continue? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, me drunk and tattoos don't work out. So it's like I don't know, but like but I like crazy. I like shit. My ex she was a little crazy, that shit crazy. So I like
Crazy is fun. It's small doses. I don't know about crazy long term. That's
Plus, Liv is just a fucking geek. She's just a straight nerd.
I mean that's what gets me though.
Nerd.
That's
and a little crazy. And I'm like, I like that. I think me more it would have been like Nikki Cross, Rhea. Can't think of her name. She used to be in a she was crazy. She had a crazy persona.
Talk about Alicia Fox.
Yes.
Oh
fuck it. I was in love with her.
But she was like band leader Alicia Fox. I love that shit. But.
I like psycho crazy. But I was like Nikki Cross.
Well, I mean, she was crazy. I mean, she was crazy, but she was like come down to the ring with like the band, the drum major helmet and all that stuff. Yeah.
But like that would have been like marry Nikki, fuck around with Alicia, and then kill Rhea. That would have been my three, because those are the three. Like I always been a big Nikki Cross fan, especially Sanity Nikki Cross. Fucking sexy as fucking hell. I don't know. I'm fucking weird.
Well, we know you're tasting women. All right.
Oh, yeah. And she's Scottish. It's the fucking accents to me too. Like I just, they're Scottish. Like she got a bunch of shit in her fucking mouth.
Solid haggis. No, so yeah, man. So even though we might try to squeeze out one more podcast before the big move.
Yeah, we're gonna probably gonna squeeze another podcast. I have an idea we'll talk off air about, and I think we're gonna do one more. I think it's gonna be a location shoot, because I can't shoot here because I don't have enough room to film. But I have an idea, but it just has to be the right circumstance to do it.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll have another audio podcast before we go on video.
Then we're gonna try to do this shit remote.
Yeah, we're gonna it's gonna go remote. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna have it ready. Like Randy, I already got Randy set up with microphones and cameras. And
I was gonna say Santa came early this year. Thank you, Santa Ramsey.
He is ready to go. We're gonna build him a little mini studio at his house.
Oh snap!
And then yeah, I still gotta build my space out. Like I have a spot. We were talking already about a spot. I need a spot for recording, and I think I found a spot that I really like. So we're gonna gotta fix it up and everything, and put a little pizzazz in it.
Yeah, I gotta figure out my my little space. I have an idea of where I could set up like a little studio, but it's gonna need some work. So
Yeah, it's gonna be on the works, but we're gonna get it and do it. We can be like Buster Radio, and one of us can go off like your boy did on that caller about fucking.
So what's funny is, I didn't get to listen to it live because I was off that day. And so normally I'm listening to Busted Open Radio on the drive into work, out of work, whatever. So like when you sent me the video and I actually sat and watched it, I was like, oh shit. So then the next morning, because they re-air the previous day's show on like the early morning when I'm driving in before work at 7 a.m. So like when I'm driving in the next morning, I hear the buildup that's leading to the caller, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm excited. I'm like, I'm getting amped up on the car ride. I'm like, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And when Dave went off on, it's like his name was etched in my brain for fucking days. I think it was maybe like Nate or something like that. It's like when he just, or Trey. No, it's Trey. Yeah, when he just fucking unloaded on Trey and then had him call back in and unloaded on him some more. I'm like, oh, dude. It's like one thing to like not lash out at your fans or whatever, but like I felt like kind of in that instance he was justified in his stance.
Yeah, so with that call, I mean, it's on YouTube. You can look it up. It's gold, but I also would tell any of our listeners out there, especially if you're Generation Y, Generation Z, learn history. Just for anything. Learn history. Because, people like, I see young kids or youngers be like, oh, CM Punk. I don't think you know who CM Punk is.
Mm-mm.
Like, you see AEW CM Punk and you hear the bill. Oh, CM Punk. No, go look at it. 2000 CM Punk back in Ring of Honor. Beginning of WWE.
His feud with Raven. Even look at like some of his classic like pre-Ring of Honor and Ring of Honor series with Cassius Ohno. Like,
and the same thing with Cody Rhodes. Look at the older stuff. It's really good. Hey, I'm one of the few people out there that say I think Stardust was one of my favorite characters that he played. I really loved Stardust.
Stardust was good. It got to a point where it got stale. They had no real creative direction for him, and it was just like
dashing Cody.
It was more like it got to the point where it was more like the weeping clown. It's like they're asking Cody to go out there, put on this makeup, and go and act like a fool, and Cody's just dying on the inside more and more.
But I would say like start like history. You got the WWE network. If you have if you have Peacock, you can go back and watch all these old matches. Watch them. Watch the old NWA. Watch the old ECW. Watch all these old matches because history counts. And it's just not for wrestling. It's for everything.
It's
football, basketball, baseball.
You have
politics.
You have to know where you've been to know where you're going. And like you can even look and just bringing it back to wrestling for a second. Like a lot of like the storylines or whatever that you're hyped up on now. Some of it is recycled stuff. They did it in a different promotion in a different day and age, and like
or WWE, they did it 20 years ago, and they just did a different spin on it.
And like I get like different things will resonate differently with different generations and everything. But like for instance, Jeff Hardy was recently asked if he could insert himself in any era of the business, what time frame would he want to be in? Like, what kind of action would he be in? And this is a guy that lived through the Attitude Era, was a very focal point of it, has been with WWE, TNA for different, stints. And, like, the answer that he gave, and this is a kid that's from North Carolina, it's like, God, I would have loved to have been in Texas in the days of, like, the Freebirds and the Von Erichs and everything. And it's like, If you don't know that, like if you went and saw the movie The Iron Claw because it was a wrestling movie, and you're like, oh, okay, that was a good movie, but you
Watch the matches.
yeah, but if you don't know like the true story and history of the Von Erichs, the Freebirds, just everything with world class championship wrestling, you're doing yourself a disservice as a wrestling fan to not go back and look at some of those classic bouts because it's again they say the saying is wrestling is cyclical and it comes in waves and it peaks and valleys, but at the same point in time it's like, you know, again, a lot of stuff in the olden days of wrestling, you know, it gets reapplied over and over again.
Yeah, it's just like I don't think like we'll never experience Hulkamania, like 80s Hulkamania. I don't think we'll ever experience that ever again.
I'm not gonna say never, but it's harder now,
Yeah.
especially in a day and age where wrestling has crossed over into pop culture and popular lexicon and
Yeah.
everything.
You're not gonna, there's not gonna be a wrestler you're gonna be in a mall and then just crowd of 100 and 200, 300. The next thing you 5,000 people following you around. Like you can't. Those days are gone pretty much. 'Cause you got fucking people on TikTok. Look at that mall. Okay.
Yeah,
Watch on TikTok. But go back and just with everything. Go anything in the world. Look back because history will teach you how not to repeat things, but also what to repeat and what not to repeat. And I think we could be beneficial if we do more learning more history of stuff of everything. Anything that you like, and you go, oh, I like this TV show. Look, go back in the history of TV shows and look at different TV shows because there's a TV show that's probably based off of it. It's written off, so look back and do a service for you. Go back and once a week, pick a wrestling, an old wrestling show from back in the day and just watch one a week.
I mean, like, and again, you know, WWE did a good job with the network of like bringing a lot of that stuff under one roof. But I mean, shit, there's so many different ways that you can expose yourself to like classic stuff. I mean, fuck, YouTube is a huge library. I mean, you could just type in Sting and find hundreds upon thousands of different videos, whether it be TNA, WCW, whatever.
Or go pull up the last Joe Hendry post on YouTube of him killing fucking Elijah.
Elias.
But it's
Yeah.
not Elijah.
Yeah.
It's wow.
Look, I will say this. I went on the Joe Hendry deep dive after he made his NXT debut, and like just all the different videos that he's done over the years.
That shit is fucking. It's a great gimmick.
I mean, it's
great
like
gimmick.
at the end of the day, you will gain a newfound appreciation of the business if you go back and look at past history. Like, look, we're enjoying everything that's going on right now. But, I mean, I will still find myself on a day where I'm bored and I just even need some background noise. I'll put on some, like, old school, I'll just put on an old Nitro just because, I mean, that was a big part of my childhood, flipping back and forth between Nitro and Raw. Hell, I might even sit there and like set it up on two TVs, like have one show Nitro and have one show Raw and like flip back and forth between the two. But
I'd say this more and more. I want to go back and watch old ECW stuff. I sit there and I'd be like, I grimace now and be like, God,
dude, like
why?
that is, that is one thing that like if I have like another extended sabbatical or whatever like that from work, I know I'm gonna have to have another operation sometime towards the end of the year. But like if I end up, with a lot of downtime, I'm probably gonna go back and watch a lot of old school ECW because while I did get to see bits and pieces of it, I didn't get to watch it on a consistent basis, especially the earlier years of ECW.
So, to me, like ECW, watching ECW it's nice watching it, but it it's not the same. It's not like
I mean, like,
Channel 10.
I mean, it's
Channel
it's
10 shitty
public
reception.
public access quality,
Yeah,
you know, broadcast.
It doesn't do the justice because the high def TV does not do it.
Yeah,
Make it old shitty ass TV and watch it. Then that's ECW. Watch it. You gotta watch it on a shitty ass tube TV at 11 or 12 o'clock at night.
yeah. Like, I don't need the remastered, you know, like
That's the experience why I think it was so unique. And that's why I thought Ring of Honor was unique for a lot of years because it was like, oh, where can you find it? Like ECW, you had to like, where can you find it? Where can you find it? Where you can find it? Same thing with Ring of Honor. Where can you find it? Where you can find it? And then it had to look.
I think Ring of Honor did like a great job of capturing the tape trade days. Like, really, like a lot of those old matches in like the early 90s, like late 80s, early 90s from like promotions outside of the U.S. So basically, if it wasn't NWA, WCW, or WWF, like if you wanted to see what was going on in Japan or whatever, or even Canada for that matter, or Mexico, you had to find tapes.
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing in the wrestling community, people trading tapes.
Yeah, and I think like you gotta get your hand on one of those shitty ass wrestling tapes.
Get a VCR,
That's
get
why-
like a
That's why go full circle back to the Wyatt Six. It's an homage. They're using VHS cassettes. I was like,
Mhm.
fucking homage to old school wrestling.
I mean, I sit there and I forget to kind of like what day and age we live in when fucking Michael Cole is sitting there like, this is a cassette tape. This is a VHS tape that is played in a VCR. Blah blah blah. Like, explain all that to the fucking youngins out there. But I'm like, Jesus Christ, we have gone into a age where VCRs are extinct and nobody knows, or like people under the age of like 20, maybe even 25, have no idea what a fucking VCR is.
The worst thing is like when you go ask a kid if you just have to do a sign for you're on the telephone, what is it? And instead of putting two fingers out, like one to your mouth, one to your ear, it's like they put like your whole palm next to the ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, oh shit, smartphone. Like back in the day, it's always like, oh, call me. You know?
Yeah.
So like it's different. With that, we're about to round up to the 2 hour mark, so it's time to end this show. I kind of like this where we don't have like a structured format where we're like, oh, we're gonna talk about this shit. Kind of like the free flowing thing. We're gonna work stuff out. We're gonna do different things. We're gonna have things. I also equipped Randy with 2 microphones. So
If I want to bring a friend.
yeah, we can have a guest on over here or so forth, and we're gonna do things, and hopefully I'll have more time up there with this job where we can start bringing some of the old school stuff back. But the problem is the wrestling's so good now. There's no time to talk about the old stuff.
Yeah.
We're in the Renaissance.
I mean, you know, but again,
Oh,
that's
wrestling.
a credit to the state of the business right now because, you know, yeah, back when we first started this show, it was like, I want to talk about anything else but Raw. Like, good God, like, do we really have to talk about a 3-hour show where not a whole lot happened in 3 hours?
Yeah, I remember when I pitched the program, I was like, hey, we're going to just talk about old stuff. We're going to talk about like 90 wrestling. We're going to talk about, and then the little bit of news here, news there, and then it's like, holy crap, this shit's coming really good. And it's like, all right, we're rolling. I'm like, crap, we don't got time to do the old stuff. Which, yeah, we got to get back to.
Yeah, we're mixing a little bit of that. You know, even if it's like maybe one show here and there, we kick it old school. I'm down for that. But yeah, no, I'll be excited to kind of see the direction that the show goes in. Again, different platform, with us not both being in studio on a consistent basis, but I'm excited to see where we go from here. It's kind of going to be fun to do something a little different.
Kind of look like Buster Radio on YouTube.
Hey.
We're gonna have like 2 people on and over. Hey, it's gonna be, but hey, content will still come out. With that, let's close the show.
All All right, so that'll do it for this week's edition of the Raging Marks Wrestling Podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and enjoying the show with us. Please be a friend of the show. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, Ravish and Randy signing off.
Rampage out.